Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Yasmin Ahmad, and today our topic of discussion is from the chapter circulation, and the topic is about the shock. First, we will see what does the shock mean and how it's being defined. So, shock is basically a life-threatening situation. In most cases, it is due to the poor tissue perfusion with impaired cellular metabolism, manifested in turn by the serious pathophysiological abnormalities. Poor tissue perfusion means the poor blood supply, and there would be impaired cellular metabolism, and there would be serious pathophysiological abnormalities. According to the guideline, it's being defined as there is insufficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the cell due to the decreased perfusion. When there is lowered or blood supply to the different vital organs, so there would be decreased delivery of oxygen and other vital nutrients to that vital organ, so the shock may occur. So, in another way to define that it's a condition in which circulation fails to meet the nutritional needs of the cells and fails to remove the metabolic waste. In this metabolic waste are being accumulated in the body, and that cause the serious damage to the different organs. So these are the different definitions in which we can see about the shock, and shock is being classified, we will see later on. So now we will see about the early signs that occur in the shock. If any patient is suffering from any kind of shock, following signs may be seen in that person. That person may be having increased sweating, there would be reduced conscious level, confusion, tachypnea. Tachypnea means increased breathing rate, hypotension, decreased blood pressure. Tachycardia means increased heart rate, and low volume pulse. This is a character of pulse that would be of low volume. Cold cyanosed peripheries means the peripheries of the body is arms, hands and feet. So these peripheries, hands and feet, would be cold and bluish in color, and there would be poor urine output, means there would be decreased urge of urination. So these signs may be seen in a person suffering from any kind of shock. So stages we will discuss in the end, and first we will see about the classification of the shock. Shock is being defined into three major categories: hypovolemic shock, cardiogenic, and the distributive one. And that distributive form is further divided into the septic, anaphylactic, and neurogenic shock. So if you don't memorize this chart, you have to memorize it about the names that the shock is being classified into the hypovolemic shock, cardiogenic, septic, anaphylactic, and the neurogenic. As the name indicate, in the first hypovolemic shock, there is decreased blood volume, and the causes of decreased blood volume may be due to the severe hemorrhage from any part of the body, because of any injury, because of any accident. In that severe hemorrhage, there would be the total loss of blood, and when there is extensive burn to a person, burn to any part, there would be total loss of the serum. And if that person is suffering from severe diarrhea and severe vomiting, there would be loss of water and electrolyte. So that will ultimately leads to the hypovolemic shock. Okay, the second shock we will see about the cardiogenic shock. As the name indicate, cardiogenic shock means when there is acute heart disease. In that acute heart disease, there is damaged heart muscle, and that damaged heart muscle cannot maintain the adequate cardiac output, as occurred in the myocardial infarction. So this is about the cardiogenic shock. And now we will see about the septic. Septic word comes from the sepsis, and sepsis mean any kind of infection. In septic shock, there is a severe type of infection in which the bacterial toxin basically enter into the circulation, and that toxin triggers the massive immune and inflammatory responses, and that powerful mediators in the body are being released basically into the circulation. And when the response is not being controlled at that organ, that basically the endotoxin causes the multiple organ damage. including the hypotension, and because of the vasodilation, there would be depressed myocardial contractility and poor tissue perfusion, and ultimately the tissue death. We have seen all type of shock basically do the same thing, that they causes the hypotension because of any reason. In this, the endotoxin is causing this hypotension, and because of hypotension there is vasodilation, and there would decreased myocardial or depressed myocardial contractility, and there would be decreased tissue perfusion, and ultimately there would be tissue death. Okay, this all occurs in the septic shock, and now we will see about the neurogenic shock. In the neurogenic shock, again, as the name indicates, it about the nervous system. It includes the sudden acute pain, severe emotional experiences, or because of the spinal anesthesia and the spinal damage. Spinal anesthesia and spinal damage are basically the main clue if any kind of scenario comes, or if any kind of MCQ comes in your papers. So you will have to take about the neurogenic shock. So again, I will tell you about it. It occurs when there is severe emotional experience, sudden acute pain, spinal anesthesia because of spinal anesthesia, and because of the spinal damage. So basically, these interfere with the normal nervous control of the blood vessels and blood vessel diameter, leading to the hypotension, and that hypotension consequently causes the same thing like the depressed tissue perfusion, and ultimately maybe to the death. Okay, the last one we will see about the anaphylactic shock. Anaphylactic word comes from the anaphylaxis, and anaphylaxis you have studied about this in your blood, and in this severe allergic responses occur that may be triggered in a sensitive individual, basically that would be sensitive to any kind of allergies. So by the substances like penicillin or peanuts or the latex rubber. So in this shock also the vasodilation is provoked by the systemic release of mediators, like these mediators are the histamine and bradykinin, that basically causes the venous pooling and hypotension, and that venous pooling and hypotension is already causing the same things, and again it causes the severe bronchoconstriction that would lead to the respiratory difficulty and hypoxia. So onset of this shock is basically sudden, and if it's severe, death may occur. So if the onset is sudden and the anaphylactic shock is very severe. So we have basically now discussed about all the classifications of the shock: hypovolemic, cardiogenic, septic, anaphylactic, and the neurogenic. Okay, so these are the types of shock. We will see some more future features present in the body. In hypovolemic, there is hypotension, tachycardia, weak thready pulse, cool, pale, moist skin. Urinary output is decreased. In a person, urinary output is decreased. In cardiogenic, we can see the same things: hypotension, tachycardia, weak thready pulse, cool, pale, moist skin. Urinary output is basically lesser than 30 ml per hour. Tachypnea, crackles. Crackles are being auscultated when you auscultate the chest or the cardiac area. And neurogenic, the some types features is different from the other types of shock. Neurogenic shock features is different from the other types, as it occurs in this hypotension occur along with the bradycardia and the warm dry skin. In all the other shocks, features are about the tachycardia and the cool moist skin. But in neurogenic shocks, features are different in this sense that there is bradycardia, means there is slow heart rate, and there would be warm dry skin. Okay, in anaphylactic, we will see again that hypotension, tachycardia, cough because of the respiratory difficulty, dyspnea. Dyspnea is again the respiratory difficulty, Pruritus is the allergic reaction. Urticaria, the same thing, restlessness, decreased okay. So septic shock we will see again. In the septic shock we will see about the hypotension, tachycardia, full bounding pulse is more powerful, and tachypnea, pink warm flushed skin. Here the feature is also somewhat similar to that neurogenic. In this, the body is pink warm and the flushed skin, and again there is a decreased urine output, and the fever is the important feature that we will see in a septic shock. Okay, so pathogenesis of the shock is same. All type of shock causes the same thing. There is decreased effective circulatory blood volume, and there is decreased venous return to the heart that causes decreased cardiac output, that would lead to the decreased blood volume. So that decreased blood volume will ultimately cause the decreased supply of oxygen to the tissues. There would be ultimately anoxia. Anoxia is complete inavailability of the oxygen, and that will ultimately be leading to the shock. So this is the pathogenesis of all type of shocks. So now we will see about the stages of shock. Stages of shock, first one is about the initial stage. Initial stage, in this initial stage, tissues are basically the underperfused, right? There is less perfusion, decreased cardiac output, there would be increased anaerobic metabolism, and that causes the accumulation of lactic acid, and that lactic acid being is accumulated in the body, and that causes the further inavailability of the different important nutrients to the vital organs. So compensatory shock is, this is basically a very reversible condition. In this, sympathetic nervous system is being activated by the low cardiac output, and this, in this stage, it attempts to compensate for the decreased tissue perfusion. Different body mechanism are being activated to compensate the changes that are being occurred in the body. So this is a compensatory stage, and the shock condition can be reversed in this state. And in the progressive stage, there is profound vasoconstriction from the system, from the sympathetic nervous system. There is very increased vasoconstriction from the sympathetic nervous system that would lead to the ischemia, total loss of blood supply to any part of the body. And that lactic acid production is becoming as more high, and that lactic acid production in the body and accumulation causes the metabolic acidosis. So this is the very progressive stage, and ultimately this progressive stage leads to the irreversible stage or non-compensatory stage. In that non-compensatory stage, no body mechanisms can compensate the changes that are being occurred in the body, and there is completely cellular necrosis, and multiple organ dysfunction syndrome may occur. So the shock may ensue, and the patient can have a death. Okay, from your textbook, these are two diagrams. These are two flow charts. You can see this is the compensatory mechanism in shock. You will see when there is a shock from any kind, of any type, that will lead to the decreased cardiac output, decreased venous return, decreased blood pressure. So when the different mechanism in the body are being activated, those mechanism are basically the sympathetic activation or the activation of baroreceptor reflex, and the other thing is about the release of ADH and angiotensin 2. So that baroreceptor activation of baroreceptor and sympathetic nervous system causes the increased heart rate and vasoconstriction, and the release of that ADH and angiotensin 2 causes the increase in blood volume. These two compensate the changes that occur very firstly. So that will lead that will compensate in this form, that will cause increase in the cardiac output, increase in blood pressure, and increase in venous return. right? And in the other form, when you will see the uncompensated shock, in that uncompensated shock you will see when there is decreased cardiac output and decreased blood pressure. So following things occur basically. The first thing, there is decreased blood supply to the myocardium, basically to the major heart, and decreased oxygen and increased waste that are being accumulated, that causes the damage to the heart muscle. Okay, and the second thing occur that slow capillary flow predisposes to intravascular clotting. Sorry, that slow capillary flow predisposes to intravascular clotting, right? As I have already discussed, that accumulation of that lactic acid and causes the damage to the capillaries, and then capillaries become more permeable, leaking the fluid into the tissue and further lowering the blood pressure. So this slow capillary flow predisposes to the intravascular clotting as well. So you will see the capillary damage due to the decreased oxygen and increased tissue waste increases the permeability and vasodilation. These all three factors causes the decrease in the venous return to the heart. So you will see that all these things causes damage to the heart muscle, and that become irreversible. That damages become irreversible. When there is the damage is being irreversible, there is a progressive heart failure. Progressive heart failure leads to the decreased oxygen delivery to the brain, and the vital center in the brain fails. So that will be leading to complete circulatory collapse and death. So this would be about the uncompensated shock. First you have seen about the compensatory shock, and secondly you have seen about the uncompensated shock. So these are basically the stages of shock. So in today's lecture you have studied about what is shock, what are the signs of shock, early signs, what are the classification of shocks, different five classification, five types basically you have classified about the shock. And then you have seen about the stages of shock, that is about compensated and uncompensated form. That's about today's lecture. Thank you.